All right, welcome back, folks. It's Sarcasm Speaks. I'm Jared. He's Bob, and hey, we're just gonna get right into it. Apparently, well, we've already talked about how the mainstream media is probably going to be dead within the next 4 years because no one will speak ill of Joe Biden.
One of the hot take I heard the other day from a Trump supporter.
Oh, what is it?
Trump's going to buy CNN.
Yeah, I heard that too. I've also heard that Jeff Bezos is going to buy CNN. It's no secret that CNN is doing poorly. Their ratings were down, 44% or something like that. Know. We talked about it on the show whenever it was. I don't know. But the biggest story that came out the other day, I think it was the New York Times, was that the news out of the White House is Joe Biden goes to bed early. He enjoys going to bed early. That was one of the lead stories from the New York Times.
Yeah, it's back to Anchorman. It's like, oh, look, a panda. Or whatever the fuck it was.
They're saying, he's an early riser, early to bed. He enjoys his sleep. And I'm like, I hear people talk about, like I heard someone talk about it, and I go, yeah, no shit. The guy's 78 years old. He probably eats dinner at 3:30 in the afternoon, and he's in bed by fucking 7, if not 6:30. He's almost 80 years old. Like, all old people go to bed by like 7 o'clock, and then they wake up at 3.
Yeah, for whatever reason.
It's like, I don't know why I wake up so early. Well, maybe because you go to bed at 7. Maybe if you went to bed at like 8:30, you'd sleep until 5. And at least 5 is like a reasonable time to get up at.
Why is it? I don't know. It's not news.
It's not
news. And why is anyone surprised?
No, I don't know. I don't know what this is going to turn into. I don't know what news outlets are going to start covering, which is also part of the reason why I think there's going to be a war that gets started, because they're going to need something to cover. They're going to start pushing, asking questions, however these back channels work, as I put my conspiracy theory hat on. They're going to start flipping out, and they're going to press for something to cover. We need something. You can't, mainstream media, it's too big to fail. You can't allow it to fail. Come on, give us something to cover. All right, well, how's a war sound? All right, let's cover that for 2.5 to 3 years.
But that's the other thing. Where are they going to go to war? Syria?
Somewhere in the Middle East. Doesn't matter.
That's what I mean, is who cares?
Drop a fucking needle somewhere in the Middle East. That's where they'll go.
But that's like an old school way of thinking. Is like, oh, let's do a war and people will care about that. People don't care about that. People literally...
People would.
Who the fuck's going to care?
You don't think people would care if we went to war?
Not with some Middle East country. If we went with some real country, maybe. Go to war with Russia if you want me to care.
I think you're underestimating people's reaction to war in general.
Because people have too much stuff that affects them individually to care about right now.
No, I'm not saying the average person. The average person doesn't give a fuck about anything but their own lives anyway.
That's what I'm talking about, because it's the average person that would be the viewer of.
No, you're talking about we're talking fringes here. Like the fringe, like left people have nothing to talk about now because Trump's gone. So they're literally running with Joe Biden has a Peloton and he goes to bed early. It's like those are the people that like need, because the news outlets have gone so far, so crazy, so far in one direction or the other. Like, actually, not really. They've gone left. Even Fox News has gone from right wing to center right. They're a little bit more liberal, but they're the ones that are going to be clamoring for something to go up. Like the fringe people that shout from the rooftops have nothing to shout about right now.
Yeah.
And they will shout about war.
But they're not going to get people to care because it doesn't affect their... Because all media needs to do, they need to get people to care.
Right, but if that's your argument, then no one cared for the last 4 years about Trump either. Because average people don't give a shit about anything like that.
No, they do, because because he tweeted mean things.
Yeah, but average people didn't care.
Anyone that was even remotely democratic cared for at least for the last year because of the campaigning.
Yeah, I mean, I think,
And then they combine
I think you
that.
could apply that same logic to a war.
I just don't like. So here, put it to you this way: the election, moderately interested because we talked about it.
Yeah.
COVID, moderately interested because I have to wake up each day and see what the governor will let me do. Mm-hmm. War in Syria, dude. What the fuck can I care about war in Syria? And war in Syria, we're never going to get the correct info coming back.
Right, but you and I are not good representations of the average American.
Oh, I'm trying to think even even the people at work. They're not going to care about like anyone that was like super like all the people that I'm going to move to Canada if Trump gets reelected. It's like Trump can't get reelected. Like, cause that's what the media would gravitate towards. Mm-hmm. Those people are so fucking self-absorbed and so fucking far gone into this alternate reality where they actually thought some of these people, they actually thought that Trump was bad for them individually.
Oh yeah, they're idiots.
Exactly. But a war in Syria, they're not going to care about because it doesn't affect their day to day. It doesn't affect what they do.
I think you'd be surprised.
Oh, no way.
I think you'd be surprised.
It has to be a real war.
It would be a real war. Boots on the ground? Yeah, dude, Syria's a nuclear country.
I'm talking a real war means there's a legitimate threat that something's coming back this way.
That's never going to happen.
Exactly. That's why I don't think people are going to care. Like, think about what Vietnam was. And I know there was no threat of it coming back. You're never getting that again. People protesting in the streets. A massive movement.
Well, it's also a different world now, too, because people like the military. Everyone blows their load about, oh my God, you're a veteran. Oh my God, you're military. Like, which rightfully so. I'm not saying that's wrong. Yeah. But it's people love military and veterans now. In the 70s, people hated the veterans.
But you're also not going to get, it would be a political disaster to go into war somewhere needlessly again. Like that.
That's like every war ever.
Oh, well, no, listen, I know that. But with how much opposition there was to that.
Well, I think there would be zero opposition to a war. Well, I shouldn't say zero. I think there would be very little opposition to war in the Middle East. Be like you said, people would be like, whatever.
Yeah, exactly.
So then the government would just go and do it.
Yeah, and it's like, but again, it's like, who cares?
But it's going to get coverage, is my point. It's going to get coverage.
It's going to get coverage, but people aren't going to. That's my whole thing is it's not going to drum up the interest that these people need.
Yeah, well, I mean, nothing is going to drum up as much as Trump did because he was the most polarizing person in this country probably since fucking Lincoln.
But I don't think it's going to drum up enough even as what Afghanistan did because we got hit first. When you roll into a country...
Yeah. Well,
they'll try to... And then again, they'll try to create the narrative...
Technically, it wasn't Afghanistan, the country. It was...
Yeah. But where they went to Afghanistan.
Yeah.
So when you went to Afghanistan, it was because we got hit on our soil first.
Right.
So people paid attention because there was a fucking terrorist attack here.
Right.
If you just like roll into Syria, they can tell us, oh, it's so bad and they have this and they have that. And it's just really not that fucking important.
It'll be Iraq all over. It'll be Iraq 2.0. Weapons of mass destruction. Oh, they have weapons of mass destruction. We have to go and stop them. Oh, there were no weapons of mass destruction.
We've seen that movie before, though. That's the difference.
Yeah, people aren't smart enough to realize. I think you're not giving enough credit in one area and giving too much credit in another.
I just don't think
the major news outlets need something to report on, or they're going to crumble.
Yes,
and reporting every day on war will get eyeballs. People will watch the news to find out what's going on in the war.
And I disagree. So we're just on opposite sides because I just don't think that a random war in some random country, because this is the thing is, again, and even in the last 4 years, everyone's become so much more self-absorbed. Well, what I say is right, and if you don't agree, you're racist, sexist, a bigot, a fucking piece of shit, whatever. So now it's a war in Syria doesn't affect me.
the
What
one
is in
thing-
it for me?
The one thing I could say though is the COVID coverage has shown us how easily manipulated people are because people watch the news.
I know, but it
So you
affects
watch the
them.
news and you say, "Oh, there's a war in Syria. Oh, there was an 18-year-old died in Syria today. Oh, there was an attack in some province in Syria. We lost 22 Americans." Like that coverage day after day after day after day is gonna be what keeps them in business because people will watch. People aren't going to watch the news if all they talk about is sleepy Joe Biden goes to bed early.
No, I mean, again, so my stance on the matter is people aren't going to watch the news, period. They'll watch the local for whatever bullshit they put on. But like national news, unless something happens, there's nothing to watch for. And it's, again, even a war. Again, you have to go to a real war because the only way that you're going to get...
I mean, any war is real war.
You know what I'm talking about.
We're not getting a world war. It's not
I
happening.
know we're not.
Because if a world war were to happen, that's the end of society.
Yeah.
Like someone's going to fucking throw a nuke and then everyone's going to throw a nuke. All it takes is one nuke to throw all the nukes.
If you have one nuke, you have all the nukes.
Yeah.
And that ain't going to happen.
No.
But these media companies are fucking screwed. They really fucking are.
Yeah.
And and all the politicians, they're too politically correct. They're not going to rock the boat like the fucking other guy. That's why, taking away his platform really kind of fucks you.
It does. And we said that. Everyone has talked about it.
So-
but if you remember back before Trump was elected, this is what news outlets were starting to deal with.
Yes.
The Boston Globe was failing and they got bought by the New York Times.
Yep.
There was something else. Something else was failing and it got bought by the Washington Post, I think. Like you were starting to see these news corporations were starting to flounder because you had 8 years of Obama and everyone just kept saying how amazing Obama was. And then everything just started falling apart. And now we're not even 2 months into Biden, and CNN's ratings have dropped 44%. The New York Times is running stories about when Joe Biden goes to sleep.
Yeah, and and then the other thing with this, the big cause isn't that Trump's not around anymore. Trump was almost a life preserver for them.
Yeah, he was.
The problem is if I want news, the last place I'm going to is mainstream media.
Yeah, but again, you are not a good representation of the average person.
Correct, because I don't care enough.
Well, you're more intelligent, I would say, and you're more able to think critically.
Right, which is what I'm trying to do about how little, again, truly how little people actually care about things that don't directly affect them. That's the big one.
I don't know. I think I disagree, but
I know I'm repeating myself. I haven't even been drinking.
it's all cyclical.
How
does Netflix make money?
Well,
the episode that never made it
if
to
their
air.
increases go up, if their costs go up, and their viewership doesn't, that's a problem.
I still don't know how Netflix makes money. That was like 2 years ago at this point, wasn't it?
Dude.
That
It was
a
upstairs.
Yeah, it was upstairs. It was all of us, right? It was me, you, Vinny, Finn.
I don't even know.
And I think that was a lost episode. Maybe I can dig back and find those and put them out. If we run into like movement issues here, if we're like scrambling and we're like, fuck.
Yeah, no, don't put that out.
Whatever. It's
It's
from
more
2 years
annoying.
ago.
Well, no, I'm just saying it's more annoying than anything else.
Yeah, people.
I'd
don't
rather
wanna
put
listen.
out.
People don't want to listen. Just turn it off.
I'd rather put out 20 minutes of something than that,
Yeah.
because that's like an hour of just like fucking blackout drunk conversations.
Yeah. The first like 20 to 30 minutes was probably fine, but the second half of it was just incoherent
Heinous.
stumbling.
Heinous.
There's a reason why it was a lost episode.
Yeah.
We've had 3 of them, I think.
Well, I don't know how many we've had. That's really the only true one. The other times is we want so bad, like when everyone's here, we want so badly to put something together, but it's impossible.
Yeah, because you can't. Everyone talks over each other,
And everyone has side conversations. No one shuts the fuck up, and we can't stay on task. Like, those aren't like lost, and like those are doomed from the start.
Yeah.
We actually recorded that other one, beginning to end.
Yep.
It went in a format that could work.
Yeah.
But it was just incoherent nonsense.
It was drunken rambling.
Yeah.
Oh, that was another thing too. They were talking about Bigfoot hunting season. I had written that down in my notes from a previous episode. So we've got Joe Biden's Peloton, his sleep schedule, and Bigfoot hunting season. That's what the news has been running with in the last couple weeks.
Yeah, they're fucked. And I guess my official stance is nothing's bringing them back. But go on.
Yeah. The other thing is, speaking of the news and a different regime with Joe Biden and all this, I'm going to call this, I'll say we can take a victory lap on this because fuck it, why not? I like victory laps. I like being right. From NBC News, so we know where they stand on the spectrum.
Asperger's?
Yeah. So this was yesterday that it was published. The title says, states now seeing similar COVID improvements with different approaches to lockdowns. You don't fucking say, huh? What everyone has been saying this entire time is that states that have gone hardcore lockdown, Massachusetts, New York, New Jersey, California, Washington, those are the places that have had some of the highest numbers. And the places that don't, Texas, Florida, South Carolina, all those areas, yeah, they've had plenty of COVID positives, but their number percentages aren't as high as Massachusetts, California, New York, New Jersey.
Yeah, I also think there's a couple. So there are a couple things regarding that with causing the numbers to be so damn high. One, population density. Don't discount that. People are just closer together, and there's more people. Then there's also like the lockdown. It's not like, because some people like lockdowns cause this thing. It's like, well, how the fuck does that make any sense? That doesn't make any sense.
No.
It's like, oh, being restricted causes more cases. Like, no, that's literally impossible. That can't happen.
The only thing is that when you close all the businesses, people gather in homes where they're theoretically closer, whatever.
So I think
they're not wearing.
Yes.
You're not going to wear a mask
No,
in someone's house,
and then like
but you would wear a mask in a restaurant
for a time.
for a time. Yeah.
I don't know. Like, so because some people did say that, they go, oh well, the family gatherings at the holidays. It's like everyone had to gather in their homes. Like, yeah, but you also could, like, my family goes out to eat, and it's like,
Yeah.
if I was to get it from my uncle, whether I saw him in a house or a restaurant, I was probably going to get it.
Right.
Anyway.
Right.
But it's the lockdown attitude of where it's like, you got to get tested every 4 seconds.
Yeah.
People are testing at work. People are testing at school. People are testing from sport. But we're allowing kids to play sports, but if someone's cousin's husband in the fucking stands dropped off a kid and never entered the building, it's like 2 weeks for both teams.
Yeah.
So with what I would really like to see is the caseload versus the amount of tests, because I think there's just so many more tests in these lockdown states, because it's like everything was so difficult. Like schools, got to have a test.
Yeah.
Like, oh, you followed all the quarantine protocols from the CDC, but you didn't take a test? Nope, sorry. Take a test 2 weeks from then.
Yeah.
It's like, fuck.
Yeah, because then, so the underline of the title of the headline says COVID-19 cases are dropping across the country, and it comes in states like California and Florida after they both took very different approaches to lockdown. So the whole thing they're saying now is that essentially it kind of didn't matter what you did. because cases are dropping in California. They went hardcore lockdown. Cases are dropping in Florida. They went life as usual.
Yeah, and it seemed like everything spiked at the same time too.
And cases spiked at the same time too. So I think that it kind of shows that you didn't have to lock down so hard. And I think, I don't know, I would hope this is going to have repercussions to the politicians. I mean, it kind of does.
It will not.
It is in California. Gavin Newsom's getting recalled. I think he just hit the total, the total signatures needed for a recall. I know, I mean, we talked about this in Massachusetts. Everyone hates Baker right now, but he's not up for election until next year in 2022. So I think that by then people will have forgotten, most people will have forgotten the extent to which they hate him. They might just roll into the polls and be like, yeah, we don't like that guy, but they don't remember why.
Yeah, he's an interesting one because I've actually flipped my opinion from before Thanksgiving to after Thanksgiving, almost 2 time periods. Because I thought he was a massive, massive, massive cocksucker up until the week before Thanksgiving. And then the week after Thanksgiving to now, I thought he has acted independently, which is something I criticize him for. Fair. Like, when the cases were very bad, we moved into a little bit of restriction. The cases came down, we moved out of a little bit of a restriction. So today's mid-February.
Yeah.
That's like my benchmark. If this extends what we're currently in until fucking June,
Yeah.
I'll change my opinion.
Right.
But as it stands today, what is this, 4 months? November, December, January, February. Yeah, so the 4 months, he's been okay because he didn't follow what the other states were doing. He didn't just arbitrarily do shit. What he did, you could, whether I agree or not, you can actually track the logic of.
Yeah.
Now, all the people he killed immediately, he still killed them. That was the before time.
Yeah.
Like, holding off on reopening anything. Mask all the time.
Right.
Like, even if you're on the golf course, by yourself, mask on. Like,
Yeah.
fuck you.
Yeah.
But since then, he's been fine. The only thing, though, someone brought this up to me, where our conspiracy theories are like, are spreading on people. We're imposing people because everyone's a fucking sheep, and especially in Massachusetts, it's pretty bad. Where everyone's just like, oh well, again, what did the governor say to us today? He must be right. He's the governor. But now people are like questioning, and this was brought up to me at work. They're like, hey, why do you, I don't know if if you've been making me a conspiracy theorist or not, but why is the vaccine rollout taking so long in Massachusetts as opposed to other states? I'm like, I don't know. What do you think? It's like, oh, I don't know. Like, just trying to like prolong this thing. It's like, imagine that.
Yeah.
Because I think in Florida, you have unrestricted. I don't know if they like rolled it out like phase 1. There's these people, phase 2.
Yeah. Did they offer referral credit?
Yeah, for bringing someone with you.
Yeah.
But I think in Florida, they have some sites, they're 24 hours.
Yep.
They have tons of appointments. I don't know if they have tons of I don't exactly know what the deal is, but I know it's much easier to get the vaccine in most other states compared to Massachusetts.
Yeah. For a while, Massachusetts was at the bottom of all 50 states as far as like vaccine distribution. They weren't like 50, but I think they might have been in the 40s, like the bottom 30s or 40s. They've since moved into, I think, the 20. Like we're back in like the middle of the pack. I might have seen someone posted last week. We moved into like 16th. We're now the 16th most effective. But for a while, Massachusetts was in the bottom, like the bottom fucking, what is that, 20% of all 50 states.
But they're also, I mean, again, they're also fucking it up with so many open appointment slots.
Yeah.
It's like we have open appointment slots and the vaccines get wasted.
Yeah.
Yet we have a slow rollout. Go fucking figure.
Yeah.
But it's not like we have like good medical professionals in this state or anything.
No, it's not like we have
top hospitals.
Nope, it's not like we have the greatest hospitals in the entire world.
Top schools.
Yeah, nope, none of that. None
of that.
Those don't exist.
We don't have those.
Yeah, no. no.
But a place like Florida, they've got it figured out.
Yeah. Well, they got Florida State.
Yeah.
It's the MIT of the South.
Florida State Medical School. Yeah. The University of Miami PhD in epidemiology.
Yeah, they learn how to use DMT and cocaine.
Fucking your cousin.
Yeah. Yeah, the whole rollout thing has been a joke too. Did we talk about that they're allowing people you get referral credits? Did we I don't know if we talked about it on the show. I know we talked about it like off air.
I forget. I don't know.
So those of you that don't know, in Massachusetts, they allowed you to get the vaccine. So they currently only have vaccine to the public for 75 years old and plus. However, they're offering a referral credit. So if you offer to drive someone who is 75 plus to get the vaccine, you can then get the vaccine. You're eligible. So what happened was people started posting shit on Craigslist. Like, do you need a ride to get the vaccine? Because I'll take you so I can get it. It was just absolute, just fucking like debauchery. And people were like, I can't believe this. And it's like, what did you think was going to happen? Seriously, you thought that you were going to just open this up and say anyone that brings someone who's 75 plus to get the vaccine is eligible, and you just thought that like chaos wasn't going to happen? You're a moron.
So even with that, Massachusetts, you can't just like, you can't just like call someone like, oh, I got someone who's 75, and they're like, oh, okay, cool. Well, we have one appointment in Greenfield.
Yeah.
What? Yeah, we got one appointment in Greenfield. It's like, no, I want to go to Foxborough. I live close by.
Yeah.
Oh, Foxborough. Yeah, we're 2 weeks out. It's like, yeah. If you bring someone who's 75, we'll get you a shot. But we're really not prioritizing you because we have vaccines to throw out and empty slots to keep up with.
Yeah, it's just fucking. It's just the whole thing is just dumb. Speaking of debacles, though, are we in the middle? It doesn't feel like it here today. Maybe we just got through the polar vortex.
We didn't get it.
Yeah, well, the whole country saw sub-zero temperatures for the first time.
It was like the middle of the state, top to bottom.
So the middle of the country.
Middle of the country.
Texas just went through some shit. They got like 6 or 7 inches of snow in some areas. They got fucking pounded, which if you talk to some people, like, because I follow a bunch of people that live in Texas, like just famous people or whatever, and they've lived there for a while. And like, I saw one person post, hey, Californians that just moved here, this is what winter in Texas looks like sometimes. You should probably move back to California. Because it's not a rare thing for northern Texas to get snow. It does happen. It's just that when it does happen, it's just chaos because they freak out because they don't have, it's not worth their budget capacity to spend in snow removal things. Because, you know, even though it might snow once or twice a year in northern Texas, once a pop, they get like 1 to 2 inches. Them getting what they just got, where it was like between 6 and 8 inches, is super fucking rare. Like, it's not, you know what I mean? Like, and that's the issue you run into with all the southern states. And it's why, you know, when I was in Charleston a couple of years ago and they told me about when it snowed and they shut the whole city down over 2 inches, and my Uber driver was telling me this, and he was like, well, yeah, we don't have plows down here. He goes, it doesn't make sense for us to spend money on the machinery or whatever to engage in proper snow removal because it doesn't happen that much. So like, why spend all that money on plows when, you know, we can just close the city for a day and then it melts the next day?
Yes, it's 70.
Yeah. So I was like, all right, yeah, that's fair. But that's what happened essentially in Texas. They got pummeled. I think Austin got maybe 8 inches.
But again, I'll also say with Texas too, and I can't speak to what sections of Texas got it. They got like actual freezing temperatures.
Yeah.
Like they got actual.
It was 8 degrees.
Yeah.
In
like,
Austin.
Remember in Georgia a couple years ago, it was a big fucking problem because they got 1 inch of snow and it was like 32?
Yeah.
That's not. Like, I look at that and I laugh.
Right.
What happened in Texas was like actual.
They got real snow.
They got real winter shit because even with the snow is fine.
Yeah.
But when it's fucking that cold, it freezes.
Yeah.
That's why there's all these fucking semis fucking flipped over and shit.
Yeah. So, because this is the dumbest time to be alive, and every day gets worse as we move through it, they're just a random act of Mother Nature, right? Weather happens all the time. It does get cold and snow in northern Texas. It happens. This is not like the first time it's ever fucking snowed. Well, leave it to a bunch of politicians to politicize weather. This is where we're at now. The
weather outside has been known to be weather.
We are politicizing weather because I saw a post from Dan Crenshaw on Instagram that outlined why using renewable energies is not effective because of weather. So he had a bunch of pictures like wind turbines and things like that, like, renewable energy sources.
Oh, but they all got
frozen and they weren't able to work. So a massive portion, I think like 80% or something like that of Texas. Well, that seems a little bit high. There's a massive part of Texas that lost power yesterday for 2 days or a day or two.
It's supposed to be like millions of homes because
the wind turbines and other clean energy sources. There was a nuclear plant that had to shut down because they have a temperature gauge that froze and stopped working.
Yep.
So then they freaked out and like shut down the nuclear plant.
Never mind that the actual like power usage was too much for the grid.
Right. So Dan Crenshaw, obviously being conservative, said that this is why we need to rely on fossil fuels. And this is why we need more coal and oil, because they're our baseline fuel source. And that's what provides energy despite weather. Well, as much as it pains me to do this, I see where Crenshaw is coming from, and he's not totally wrong, but he is being political. He is playing politics for this.
Yeah.
Because the difference between wind turbines in Texas and some of the other things that I was reading about, I like different like electrical lines and things like that, versus wind turbines and power lines up here, is that our shit never freezes up here.
Yeah, our shit
despite
doesn't
how
freeze.
cold it gets, because it's built differently. And they have
Built different.
It's built different in New England. Built New England tough.
I'm built different.
But so the way like I read it was all of their like power lines and underground lines and their fucking wind turbines and shit, they're not insulated because it's cheaper to not insulate them because they feel like they don't have to be. So when it gets really fucking cold, everything freezes. But up here, all our shit is insulated because it gets really fucking cold for 6 months out of the year. So the issue, Representative Crenshaw, if I may, is not that the renewable energy sources themselves are inefficient and should be eradicated. It is that they weren't built to handle the circumstances because, like I said, we have wind turbines in the Northeast and they never freeze over with ice.
Yeah, just insulate the fuckers.
Right. So, like, if you build them with the capability to withstand cold, then you're fine. Everything is fine. Now, however, on the other side of that argument, you have good old, what the fuck is his actual name? Robert O'Rourke.
Don't even know.
Also known as Beto. Beto O'Rourke. You remember that guy?
No, I have no idea who this person is.
He ran against Ted Cruz for the senator seat in Texas. Beto O'Rourke, right? What do you think? Like, probably Mexican guy, right? With a name like Beto.
I don't know. It sounds like Star Warsy.
Yeah, well, he's white. He's white as fuck. The story behind why his name is Beto is because his au pair growing up because he's rich as fuck. Rich white guy their family had an au pair who was Mexican that nicknamed him Beto. So he's running for office in Texas with a fake name like Beto. What do you think he's trying to do there? Maybe he's trying to appeal to the Latin vote.
Did it work?
Nope. He got close. Admittedly, he did get very close.
Is that because is Ted Cruz another guy
I think he is of Latin descent. Yeah.
Fuck me. Okay, so maybe the reason I think that
Latinx, is that what we're supposed to say?
I don't know. Maybe the reason I think that was going back to that race. I don't know.
Yeah.
Whatever.
So Beto came out and now he starts ripping fossil fuels, saying that we're hurting the climate and it's extreme climate change that is causing all of these problems. And they're just like ripping back and forth over weather. It's weather, guys. Like, it fucking happens. Sometimes it snows in Texas. The infrastructure in Texas isn't able to handle it the way it is now. Like, you just call a spade and, agree that you guys got fucked on this one and then tomorrow's a new day. You know what I mean? Like,
that would be like if a hurricane came up here and then we start like trying to figure out like how to handle hurricanes.
Yeah.
And then someone in Louisiana laughs and goes, yeah, hurricanes suck, but this is how you handle it.
Right.
And we're sitting up here like, oh my God.
Well, it's the Republicans that don't like houses that do this. And then it's the Democrats say, well, if we had more people living in these empty houses, then the infrastructure would be kept up and there wouldn't be so much destruction. I guarantee that's how it would be because there's so many empty like buildings and shit. And Democrats would be like, well, we have to fill them with all the homeless people so that infrastructure is upkept and things don't just sit and things are updated. And it's just fucking, I guarantee that's what it would turn into. That's the equivalent of what's happening in Texas right now, of them saying fossil fuels are bad. They're causing snow. Versus clean energy is bad because it doesn't handle snow. Well, you guys are both idiots. You're both being idiots right now. Yeah. Like, you're playing politics over weather. Like, what the fuck? Like, it's dumb. It's why I hate politics. Why I want to go back to not caring about politics.
Don't worry. Soon enough you will. War or not.
Yeah. War in fucking, I don't know, Abu Dhabi. That's probably one place that would never go to war because they're so fucking rich.
Yeah, what are they going to go to war for?
Yeah. The UAE. Even they just, I think they just allowed women to drive in like 2015.
Saudi Arabia? I think it was Saudi Arabia.
Saudi Arabia? I don't know. They're all the same to me. UAE, Saudi Arabia, I don't know.
Well, I was going to say, I want to be very specific with which countries give women zero rights and which ones give them some.
Which ones give them zero? Which one give them about 10% of the Western world?
And I'm pretty sure Saudi Arabia is teetering on like 2%. Can't show your face.
Yep.
Can't drive. Well, no, I think they can drive now.
Yeah.
You definitely can't vote.
No.
Don't speak up.
Nope. They're like, even like as stupid shit as like the women are supposed to walk behind the men. Like if you go out with like your husband or significant other, like the woman has to walk behind the man. Like they're not allowed to walk next to each other. Like what the fuck? What the fuck kind of world are you guys living in? But yeah, no,
I don't know. They should be concerned. It might get snow soon.
But yeah, no, we need to respect their rights. we need to pay respects to those countries that don't respect their own people. Yeah, that's right.
That's true. That was a thing for a while.
Yeah. Fucking.
Oh, with Justin Thomas. That's right. I was gonna say, when was that? That was like recently, like a thing.
Yeah. They don't even respect their own fucking people.
No.
Let's be nice to them. Fuck you. I don't know. You got anything, or you want to? Actually, I got a question for you. No, what do I want to do? I have two things left on my list. One of them is going to be my final thought. I don't know which one I want. Let's go to WandaVision.
Okay.
Have you been watching?
Yeah, I'm caught up.
So what are we, 6 episodes in now?
Sounds right.
So we railed on WandaVision after what, the 2nd episode?
Yeah, but in our defense, we said we hated it, but we also said, wait.
Yeah. Because since episode 2, it has gotten way better.
Imagine that. We suck so badly that we have an influence over something that already exists.
It's already been recorded.
It's already been recorded and produced. And we say it sucks, and then all of a sudden it doesn't suck.
Yeah. That's great. That's
power that we should not have.
No, it's scary. To wield that kind of power. I don't have that kind of responsibility to use it.
No.
Yeah, so it's gotten way better. I don't know if anyone out there is actually watching it or not, but right around episode 4 is when it took the turn to get really good.
So episode 3, and if you haven't seen it and you're concerned, stop listening now. Episode 3, I think, was when Geraldine said her brother was killed by Ultron, and then that was like the flip.
Right. And then because episode 4 was the one where it wasn't about them. It was like the external people on the outside.
I think.
Yeah. So it was like right around. So yeah, it was
episode 3,
4 is where it made the flip. Literally right after we said it sucked after episode 2. Yep. And now it's good. I look forward to it every Friday, and I'm like, oh man, what's gonna happen now? Who knew?
Yeah, it's interesting because obviously there's so many questions that have gone unanswered so far.
Yeah,
which is part of the mystique, I guess.
Yeah,
about it or the interest.
So I'm gonna throw a spoiler alert out here in 3, 2, 1. Go fuck yourself. I think Magneto is gonna end up being in this.
Well, so
like Ian McKellen Magneto,
not
Michael Fassbender.
So one of the running things, obviously, is with. So this is the problem with comic books is at the same time you had 2 Quicksilvers, and for whatever reason, because I think Wanda Maximoff comes more from the X-Men side.
She does.
Because she is a mutant.
Well, she is the child of Magneto.
Okay.
So,
but in
Quicksilver and Magneto are... I'm sorry. Quicksilver and Scarlet Witch are Magneto's kids.
But in some comics...
In the comic book world.
They got their powers from an Infinity Stone. Like, this is why comic books are kind of fucked. Because you have different storylines and all that bullshit.
Yeah.
So, now that Marvel bought Fox... Did they buy Fox or did they buy...
I think...
Or did Disney buy Fox?
Somehow
now you can have X-Men and Marvel in the same universe where you couldn't before.
Yeah.
So that's why in 2014 or 15 or whatever it was, you had 2 Quicksilvers in 2 different movies played by 2 different people, almost with 2 different fucking backgrounds.
Yeah. So what I think, my thought process behind all of this is I think they're going to, because I saw this thing where Elizabeth Olsen said that. So this was before the episode when Evan Peters came in.
Yeah.
But Elizabeth Olsen did an interview and she said there's going to be a Luke Skywalker type reveal. And then the next episode was when Evan Peters came in. So everyone probably thinks that. And I'm thinking, and I go, that's not Luke Skywalker. Like that's nah. Because they said it's similar to Luke Skywalker in The Mandalorian, which I still haven't watched. But so I'm thinking...
Pretty good.
I'm thinking it's Magneto, and I'm thinking that what is going to happen is WandaVision is the beginning of, or the introduction to the multiverse, which is then going to get picked up by the second Doctor Strange movie, which the title is Into the Multiverse.
Which she is in.
Right.
But
so what's going to happen, these are just my thoughts, is this WandaVision series is going to introduce the theory of the multiverse, and then that Doctor Strange movie is going to open it up and explore it, and that's when we're going to start to get the crossover between the X-Men and the Marvel universe.
So it's actually really interesting you said that, because I rewatched Doctor Strange not too long ago. We all know about the multiverse. It's there. It's in that movie. They fucking talk about it nonstop, and how he can move, and there's this, there's that, there's different realities, there's multiverses, blah 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 blah. And now people are talking about like, oh well, this might introduce the multiverse. No, motherfuckers, they already did.
Yeah.
You just weren't paying attention because you maybe Doctor Strange maybe wasn't your favorite movie, or not everyone saw it, or whatever. They just talked about it. They already set the foundation.
Right.
For fucking almost 5 years now, we've had the knowledge that there is the ability for a multiverse. Doctor Strange can tap into it, and it's possible. Then SpiderMan came out with Into the Multiverse, or Into the Spider-Verse, where it was animated, it's fun, it's whatever.
Yeah.
But they fucking basically set the foundation that you can pull.
Yeah.
And then,
now,
so then
now
they
they're
announced
releasing a movie with all three Spider-Men in the last 20. Tobey Maguire, Andrew Garfield, and Tom Holland are all going to be in one Spider-Man movie.
And then they announce that Doctor Strange will be like the Multiverse of Madness or whatever. That's the title.
Yeah.
It's like, we're going to finally find out about the multiverse. Like, no, fucking pay attention.
They've been talking about it the whole
We
time.
already did.
Yeah, yeah.
We don't know much about it.
Right. It's going to be interesting, though, to see where they pull from. Because then, obviously, you know what? If you want to go back, it's a little bit of a stretch. But even the X-Men stuff kind of had a bit of a multiverse. Because you had, the original cast of Ian McKellen, Patrick Stewart, and Halle Berry. And then you got Michael Fassbender, James McAvoy, and I forget the young girl that played Storm in the rebooted version.
I don't know her name.
But what did I just call it? What did everyone say? Well, it was a reboot. Well, maybe it wasn't a reboot. Maybe it was just a different multiverse that we're seeing. Which we did see in which one was it? Days of Future Past? Remember when they're in the cave in the fucking mountains and the Sentinels are coming to kill them, and Patrick Stewart has to send Logan, or Rogue has to send Logan back in time to try and save and change the past to then get rid of the Sentinels. That movie? That's a more of like a time travel-y line, but like it could be considered multiverse.
Yeah. And that's the thing. So it's a quote unquote a reboot, but wasn't there allusions to the previous trilogy?
Yeah.
In it?
Yeah.
I could be making that up. But I thought like they kind of alluded to like what happened before. Yeah. But I don't know, whatever.
Yeah. Because the whole thing too is, then what I really, really hope, I don't know if how it's gonna happen, but I hope that they somehow throw Deadpool into the mix also. Because remember was it Deadpool 2 where they had the quick cameo when he was in the what's it called? The Professor X's home, the school. He was in the school. And he goes, what? Marvel couldn't kick up the budget for all the other guys?
But then they're in the other room.
They're in the study, and they just close the door. They literally are in the movie for like 7 seconds.
Yeah.
But they're there. So I think this whole thing has been like happening.
Then the other thing, so is Quicksilver with Fantastic Four at all too? Or am I making that up? I could be making that up.
No, that's the Silver Surfer.
Isn't there someone who's fast? No? Okay, anyway. Whatever. Because then Fantastic Four is getting a movie, but Fantastic Four almost opens up yet another thing.
Right.
So it's like...
Oh, Chris Evans is both. Chris Evans is going to come back and play both.
Captain America is Johnny... What Johnny...
Yeah. Johnny Flame?
Johnny Flame?
Is that his name?
Johnny Inferno? Yeah. Disco Inferno?
Yeah, no, I think it's going to be real interesting now that especially Marvel or Disney owns all of it
I believe they own everything now.
except for Spider-Man. I think Spider-Man still is co-owned by Sony.
Oh, but it's probably a licensing thing.
Yeah. And they're fine enough to come out with this Spider-Man movie with all three of them. Which, I don't know, it's weird. It's almost one of those, like, to really appreciate the genius of the writing, to think about, and obviously these guys can lie and say it was their plan the entire time.
No fucking way. I am not buying.
But, like, to sit down and think, like, all right, this is what we've already done. This is where we want to go. How do we tie stuff from, like, 20 plus years ago into where we want to go? And they're like, oh, wait, well, we have this multiverse theory. Well, everyone was pissed that we kept changing Spider-Man. Well, what if we just take all three of them and just put them in the same movie? Now we have the multiverse. Like, I think that's probably how it went.
Oh, I was going to say, if
the
someone's going to tell
time-
me that the reason they keep changing the actors is so that they could fucking do a multiverse one day, it's like, fuck out of here.
Yeah, I really don't. I don't think that. But I feel like if you ask some of them that, they'd be like, "Oh yeah, it was our plan the whole time." Yeah, you go fuck yourself.
Well, we didn't know per se that in 2003 that we would be having a movie in 2021 that would, combine them all. But you could see it happening. What? I know. Again, the comic book world is a fucking disaster, and it's like people die, show back up. Like, we're going to see it with Captain America. Like, Captain America's dead, but Captain America will be back. It'll just be someone else.
Yeah.
Probably Bucky. No, I'm sorry, probably Sam.
Yeah. Well, there's one... Fuck, what's his name? Mr. USA? So from the comic books, Captain America was replaced by, I think it was like Mr. USA or something like that, who was actually like a Russian spy. He was like a Russian agent. So people thought he was like the new Captain America, but it turns out he was actually created by Russians. There was like this whole thing. I read about it last week. I don't know this off the top. I'm not a comic book guy. I read it last week. It was something along those lines.
But if I can pull it up quick, I'll let you know all the people that have been Captain America. Fuck.
Because they alluded to him being in that series. What is it? Falcon and the Winter Soldier.
Yeah.
Falcon and Winter Soldier. Mr. USA. Is that what? Let me see what comes up. Cast. Well, I think the cast will just give me the names of the people. Oh, U.S. Agent. That's what it is. So U.S. Agent is the guy that is actually a Russian agent. U.S. Agent Marvel. Yeah. Let me see. Where's his description? U.S. Agent is a fictional superhero appearing in the American comic books by Marvel, usually those starring Captain America in the Avengers. He first appeared as a super patriot. He was later redesigned as a new incarnation of Captain America, and a few years later as U.S. Agent. He is something.
So I've got here.
John Walker is who he is, actually.
So I've also got here that there's been 11 characters who have been Captain America.
Yeah, it's like the comic books, like when they go on for so long, if you actually follow true to the comic books, there have been like 13 fucking people that have played every single thing.
Yeah.
Like Batman, I think there's been like 17 different people that have actually played Batman in the comic book world. Like, it's not always Bruce Wayne.
Yeah, and it's there's no like linear storylines usually.
No.
Which is hard for people to grasp because it's, oh, Captain America, this is who it is. It's like, yeah, kind of.
Yeah.
It's more like the CEO of Apple. You're getting a title.
Yeah.
Not really a person.
Oh, okay. So part of the U.S. agent's fictional biography. There was a commission to debate who should become the new Captain America, with Nick Fury and Sam Wilson both being considered as candidates, although the former was too old and would not want to give up the autonomy as the director of S.H.I.E.L.D., and the latter, they did not believe the United States was ready for a black Captain America. Wow. Yikes.
When was that written?
Yikes. I don't know. But I mean, he first made his appearance in 1986. So this was the 80s.
Jesus Christ.
Yeesh. Just gonna let that one sit there. But
I think it's gonna be. Fuck it. From the previews, I think it's gonna be Sam.
yeah, probably, most likely.
Or I don't know. They could pull something crazy where it's like we're gonna be interviewing as a team. We're both Captain America.
Yeah, exactly. We share the shield.
Yeah.
We just throw the shield back and forth to each other.
It's like the royal we.
Yeah.
The royal Captain America.
Yeah.
Where as long as you have the shield and kick some ass, you are Captain America. Even you could be Captain America.
You want to wrap this up?
Yeah. So I found out this morning that Massachusetts is going to find 6 ways to disappoint me now.
Sick.
Because there are 6 sports betting bills
Oh, great.
on the table. And I'm predicting that we will see 0 of them get passed. Because the state sucks. And so this latest one, and again, I don't know every detail of every bill. But it's like, you guys make a bill, change one detail, and now we have 6 to fucking weigh. So instead of having like one good one, we have 6 that are like so fucking obvious that whoever presented it has some kind of political agenda. Imagine that.
Weird.
Imagine that, a politician.
Huh.
We're back to politicians being politicians.
Yeah.
So again, it's like I can't tell the difference between each 6. Frankly, I don't give a fuck. I know what this is, and it's fucking insane. But like, as someone who bets on sports, I know what the fucking best format is.
Right.
But no one's putting any money in my pocket, so now I don't have an ulterior motive to do this, because like some of the bills exclude college sports. You know, obviously the casino operators, they want the mobile betting to be tethered to a physical location.
Right.
Well, they're going to make more money off that, obviously.
Right.
But it should go. You can bet on whatever you want. If you're worried about fucking point shaving and shit, it's going to be way fucking harder now.
Oh, yeah.
Way fucking harder. It was way easier before. That's like fucking Nico's telling us about the guy who used to come into Foodmaster and he lost 1 pick in 3 years.
Yeah.
Every week he would come in with a pick. Give him a couple bucks. He'd tell you who the winner was, and it missed once. So before the guy died, someone asked, I was like, dude, how are you always right? He goes, oh, my cousin works for the mafia. They're fixing the game.
Yeah. And it's always like a random fucking game.
UMass Lowell or whatever.
Yeah.
Because it can't be a real game.
Right. It's UMass Lowell basketball.
Like, do you know how hard it would be to fix a BC game?
Right.
It'd be so fucking obvious.
It'd be like Mount Ida. It's like Mount Ida versus Bridgewater.
Yeah. It's like Division 3 games.
Yeah.
Or even if you're not like fucking with the players, it's like you can pay the refs off.
Yeah.
That's easy.
Oh, yeah.
Like, we could be fucking Division 3 basketball refs.
It's not that hard.
And I'm fucking morally flexible.
I'm very morally flexible.
So it's like let people bet on college. If they're gonna fix the game, they're gonna fix the game. You're fucking none the wiser.
Yeah.
Promise you that.
Yep.
And if they are fixing the game, the books will figure it out pretty quickly. Mm-hmm. When all of a sudden there's this massive bet coming in on fucking Division 3,
right?
And when you hit like submit on your sports book, and all of a sudden it's taking a long time to load, it's because they're screening the bet.
Yeah.
It's not loading, it's not buffering, it's not. Yeah, they're fucking screening the bet. That happens.
Yeah.
Once that starts happening, it's pretty easy to fucking figure it out, and then you can pull it for a bad line. Like, that's how this works now. You have no fucking power.
Right.
What are you going to do? Fucking show up at the sportsbook with a gun and be like, I had that fucking bet. Like, you can't stick it in the bookie's mouth.
Right.
Like,
Yeah.
What are you going to do?
Yeah.
So let people bet on college. Let people let untethered mobile exist in the state.
Right.
You know, put the locations in. Let it be the horse tracks or the race tracks, the simulcast spots, the 3 casinos, any future casinos. Like, let it all. Like, just let it all happen. Stop making this fucking complicated. Because everyone knows the only reason you're making it more complicated is
Your agenda.
or corruption.
Right.
Like, fuck off.
Yeah.
Fuck out of here with that shit.
Yeah.
So yeah, we'll be let down in 6 different ways now.
Yeah, that's awesome. I can't wait. Yeah, 6 bills up for whatever vote in 2021. 0 of them will pass.
0 of them will pass, and then when they like rewrite to come up with like the one bill to consolidate it all for it to be like the one, that won't pass either.
Yeah, and it'll be super underwhelming.
Yeah, it'll probably be like the worst options of them.
It'll be like there's only 2 licenses allowed.
Yeah,
You're not allowed to bet on college.
It'll be like only the casinos.
You can't bet on hockey on Tuesdays.
Yeah, yeah. It'll be like no. It'll be like no college. Only the casinos. There'll be like 2 mobile licenses.
Yep.
And they'll put in like a $20 million fucking application fee, so you can literally only have the 2 biggest ones come in.
Right.
And then when they know that, they'll fucking tweak the lines to fucking fix them. Because that's the other thing is you're gonna get shittier lines when they know, like when you limit what's available.
It's competition. You limit competition, and then they can just adjust.
Or the worst is it'll be through the lottery. That would be the worst because that wouldn't even be sports betting.
No, it wouldn't. They have that in some places, don't they?
Through the lottery is the worst option because if you have to go through the lottery, you can't walk up to the lottery and say, all right, give me...
They have... Where is that? They have like parlay cards that you can fill out for through a state lottery.
But that's it.
I don't know what states though.
I don't know either. So,
but I know that's a thing.
But like... So my thing is like the lottery can do that. That's fine. Put parlay cards through the lottery. So if you go to Stop and Shop, you can whatever. That's fine.
Yeah,
that's fine because you're just gonna lose and it's no big deal. But you can't only have that. If the lottery runs it, that's all it's gonna be. Like you can't walk up to your convenience store and give me $20 on 153 spread. You can't do that.
Right.
But if you hand them a parlay card, they'll handle a parlay card.
Right.
But that's not sports betting.
No. Well, speaking of sports betting, make sure you go over to mybookie.com and sign up using our promo code SarcasmPod, and they will match your first deposit for 50% up to $1,000. So you deposit $1,000, they give you $500, and then they'll toss in a nice little $20 free play in there too. So mybookie.com, promo code SarcasmPod.
I think they gave me a free $10 blackjack chip the other day.
Yeah, they did. They're pretty good about that. They gave me a...
Yeah, but I'm seeing through their tricks.
Yeah, they sent me this thing in the mail, which I don't know if I should be sharing this with all 50 listeners here, but I will. If you already have an account and you go to their deposit page and you just click enter promo, if you type the word friends, they will give you a $20 free play. They sent me something in the mail the other day that said, thanks for being our friend. Go up and it like outlines how to do it and click just enter the promo code. Don't make an actual deposit and just type in the word friends and we'll give you $20. And
what's the rollover?
I don't think there was one.
Well, it's got to be at least a one-time rollover.
Well, probably one time because they're not just going to give it to you and let you withdraw it.
Yeah.
But, yeah, so that's that. MyBookie.com.
Can I do that right now?
You probably could, yeah.
I should probably wait.
So, today, February 17th, is the 58th birthday of Michael Jordan, MJ, the GOAT.
He's only 58?
Yeah.
That's not bad.
So I found this thing on Twitter. Someone put up like his whole thing. 6-time NBA champion, 6-time NBA Finals MVP, 5-time NBA MVP, 14-time NBA All-Star, 1988 Defensive Player of the Year, 1985 Rookie of the Year, 10-time scoring champion, 2-time slam dunk champion, 2-time Olympic gold medalist, the first billionaire NBA player. Michael Jordan,
too
58 years old.
It's too bad Tom Brady's the better athlete and winner.
Yeah, yeah. So someone asked, Mike, shout out to Mike, friend of the show. He asked me the other day, because someone posted on Instagram, who's the bigger GOAT, MJ or Tom Brady? And I said MJ, because the hype surrounding Michael Jordan in the 90s was literally like no one else. There was literally the saying, you want to be like Mike. They wrote songs about it. Like, people talked about it all the time. Everyone said, oh, you want to be like Mike. No one is running around saying, I want to be like Tom. There's no, I want to be like Tom. There's no people fighting over Tom, a special TB12 shoes. Like, it was Jordans. Like, Jordans were the number one thing. They still are. The guy hasn't played.
Crazy.
The guy hasn't played in what? Almost 20 years.
And they're more popular than ever.
And they're more popular than ever. Jordans, the Jordan brand, the Jumpman, like MJ. He is the GOAT. Even if Tom Brady wins another ring and goes eight rings, I still go Michael Jordan. Just because of the social phenomenon that happened. Oh, and by the way, all of that happened in the 80s and 90s, way before I know the internet existed, so fuck off. But it was before the internet really became what it was.
And social media. Yeah, and again, so it's like LeBron and Michael Jordan play the same sport.
Yep.
There's really no comparison there.
Right.
So if you're in fucking middle school or high school and you're telling me LeBron, sit down, kid.
Yep.
Then, like, say Brady ends up going like 8-3 in Super Bowls. 8 wins, 3 losses. I don't know, man. It's like, it's so hard to compare. And I feel like because it's easy to say now because he's 7-3, Jordan 6-0. Right. At what point does the total number of rings overtake the 6-0?
Right.
But the other thing is, in football, you can't be a better player than
your team is good.
You can't be a better player than in basketball.
Right.
Because in basketball, you play offense, you play defense, and one guy can make a difference. One guy can win a ring, a cup, or a ring,
right,
a series, a game, whatever.
Right.
In football, the quarterback plays one position.
Right. Only on offense.
Only on offense.
Which is just a third of the game. Special teams counts too.
Yeah.
It's still a third of the game.
Yeah. But, like, that's the thing with Brady is if all of his passes are perfect and the receiver drops it.
Hey, how'd the Super Bowl work out against Philly?
Exactly.
Tom Brady threw for over 500 yards and the team lost.
Yes.
Because their defense was trash.
Yes.
Couldn't stop a fucking nosebleed.
Yes. Or the one play where he gets stripped.
Yeah. When Michael Jordan goes off and scores 40 points and then holds the guy he's defending to 12 points, Bulls probably win that game.
Yeah. And that's why it's incomparable between cross sports. And someone's always going to say, well, Brady's better because he has more rings. Fine.
Well, if that's the argument, then Bill Russell is the greatest of all time.
Well, some people will say that, so easy. Easy.
Like, if you boil the argument down to just rings, then it's Russell. Like, if the argument...
well, Phil Jackson was a player, too.
Yeah, yeah. Well, the argument turns into, like, oh, if it's just about rings, then yeah, sure, I'll give it to Bill Russell. But if I'm talking about greatest of all time, there's multiple facets to that. It's not just rings. It's the effect on the sport, too.
I was gonna say,
Michael Jordan, changed basketball.
I meant to get to the point where Michael Jordan culturally has done more for any sport than anything.
Yeah. He has so many iconic moments. The dunk jumping from the free throw line, like that became a thing. Like kids now, or it used to be growing up, were like, I'm gonna dunk jumping from the free throw line. Like I'm gonna do it. Like this.
Yeah, I'm gonna do it from my 4-foot hoop.
Yeah, there's
never mind
the flu game
when we were a kid. The tongue out.
Yes, the tongue out.
Like as simple as the tongue out.
He changed basketball. Tom Brady did not change football.
No, he just took he
didn't change culture.
he did it
either.
the best.
Tom Brady didn't change culture.
No, but
Michael Jordan changed culture.
he did football the best.
Yeah.
Yeah, and again, if we're going to talk winning, again, it's like, how do you compare?
Right.
Like, how do you compare? Because I hate the idea that Montana is better than Brady because he never lost, because now Brady has 3 more rings than him.
Right.
For the same reason that
You don't get penalized for going and losing. Like, to go to the Super Bowl or to go to the finals and lose, you don't get penalized for that. Like, the argument is like, would you rather they lose in the AFC Championship game? Like, that's what you're saying. You don't want them to go to the Super Bowl.
That's because you don't want to see the loss.
You'd rather they lose in the AFC Championship game.
Yeah, but again, at some point though, if you're gonna make it only matters when you make comparisons.
Right. Right.
So like if Brady was 4-3 total, yeah, you could probably say Montana was better.
Yeah, absolutely.
But you can't, like, 6-0 in the NBA from a guy who also retired in the middle of his
6-0 with 2 3-peats.
Yeah. And he retired in the middle of his 6.
Yeah.
Like, how do you compare that? You can't compare these things.
Right.
They're not equal.
No. But so, like I said, Jordan is still my GOAT. Despite, like I said, Brady could get to 8 rings, and I'm still going to go Jordan.
It's honestly him and Tiger Woods.
Yeah.
But golf's not as popular.
Right. Right. Guys that they transcend the sport. Brady doesn't transcend football.
No.
Tiger transcended golf, and Jordan transcended basketball.
Yeah. And they were significantly better than anyone.
Yeah.
Significantly.
Yeah.
And even Jack Nicklaus, like, it's impossible to say, but if you put Prime Jack in a match against Prime Tiger, good fucking luck.
Yeah. Yeah. So, happy birthday to the GOAT, MJ, 58 years old. Imagine being a billionaire before you're 60.
Imagine owning a fucking Michael Jordan rookie card right now. Like, fucking buku cash, dude.
Yeah. Just wild.
Actually, any of his stuff is super expensive.
Yeah.
Fucking craziness.
Yeah, but that TB12 diet, though?
Yeah, how's the TB12 method going?
Yeah. How's that doing?
Is everyone fucking...
The concussion water?
Like, pliability was cool for, like, 18 months.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then everyone realized fitness sucks. I'd rather buy shoes.
These Jordans are way better.
Wow, taking care of my health is dumb. I'd rather frivolously spend money.
Yeah. Like, let's see, I could spend $120 on these bands and this stupid diet book, or I can spend $120 on these Fresh J's. Let's see.
Yeah.
Which one am I going to do? All right. Well, that is going to do it for us. So thank you for watching. If you're on YouTube, click the thumbs up, click subscribe, tell everybody you know about the show. Thank you for listening wherever you're at. Subscribe on whatever streaming service you're using. If you're on Apple, go to the iTunes store, give us 5 stars, write a review, and you can find us on Instagram at Sarcasm Speaks Pod. We're on Twitter at Sarcasm_speaks. Our Facebook page is just Sarcasm Speaks. And until next time, good